Hello, everyone watching this video. I'm hosting here a short interview with Cristian Pasa, an investor who became a member of the Fagura team. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Dmitry. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. um, let's start. Tell me, why did you invest in Fagura in the first place? Because you have a very interesting story, like becoming an investor first, and after that, you embraced this role of operational role of becoming a member of the team.
Yeah, well, it happened in 2021. I was desperately looking for a private investment to diversify my portfolio, which I'm running together with my wife. And I just happened to see yourself and Tudor preparing the investment round on Cedars in London back then. And I said, well, I know these guys. They are credible. They managed to sort of to launch some very successful businesses back home in Moldova. And I said, let me talk to them. So I reached out to Tudor and I said, look, I'm interested to sort of to invest, but I would also like to gain some exposure to sort of the daily operations of the business. And he said, okay, let's have a further conversation. Let's talk to the team, which we did. And eventually, yeah, I came in as an angel investor when I was persuaded to become an operational executive. So that's how I ended up here.
Was it difficult, like uh, to to enter the team, like to become very an important figure today in Fagura in the operational business? Because I want you to share your experience of um, how we've attracted people in the team, and I want people to know that this is not the only possible case. Yeah, that anyone who is interested can
Yeah.
embrace our values.
No, I think it's a great question. I think for me it was well, first of all, it was fully online, so I never met the team physically. I'm based in Cluj. Back then, Tudor and yourself were based in Chisinau, and now Tudor is based in Bucharest. So it was just a matter of feeling the chemistry, the flavor of the team online. We later on confirmed it offline, but I think it was quite a smooth sort of uh, process. And I think it was based on first of all on trust and on the transfer of credibility. And I think it's very important for early, especially for early stage investments, is that you really trust the team who runs a project, and that credibility is transferred upon the whatever new endeavors these people might have. So essentially, I would say anyone willing to engage with us and become part of our team because they do feel that they can make a good job out here should just start with asking a question. Do you have availability for IT, for example, skills, which we actually do. We're looking for people to join our IT department. So as I said, it's just ring up or just send us a message. We're happy to discuss.
How does usually an investor behave? Because you have this experience of investing. Um, he it buys and waits for the increase of value. How much does it wait, or
Mm.
it looks to the figures, to the X 3x 5 10?
Yeah, I think it depends. It depends on the stage you're investing at. And I mean, with Fagura, for instance, we are still in the seed stage of investment. So it's quite early in the process. And in our case, an investor would typically look at somewhere between 5 to 7, even up to 10 years worth of, buying and holding the position. Um, and that's typically what the venture capitalists do. So I would say, to maximize on the profitability of your investment, irrespective how big or small it is, I would say, at least 5 years should be the horizon. Now, that being said, It also depends on personal circumstances. And with this type of investments, like seed investments or early stage investments, I mean, you have two options really. You either exit when the founding team is exiting, so that means they either sell the company to someone else, or they list the company on a stock exchange, and that's when they exit, and therefore you would most likely exit, and you make the multiple of the investment is according to the round. Or the alternative is to sell the shares you own on the secondary market. And luckily enough for all our shareholders who invested via the crowdfunding campaign last year, and hopefully this year as well, would be to sell it on the secondary market. So Seeders, for instance, which is our crowdfunding partner, they offer you the possibility to exit your positions via selling on the secondary market. And I've seen like investors gaining 500% on their investment in 1 year, and I think it's phenomenal. I mean, not a lot of investors gain this multiple.
You have mentioned the next investment round that Fagura is planning on Cedars. Um, I want to talk about this topic a bit. Can you tell us more about it? Last year it happened in May. The round was organized in May. Fagura was evaluated at about 2 million euros. It's the startup sold about 11%. What are the figures, the expectations for the next round?
Mhm. Well, we're most likely going to have a hybrid sort of round this year, and that means a part of the investment requirement will go via seeders, and the other part will go via investment funds, and therefore we call it a hybrid campaign. In terms of the seeders campaign, this is typically for retail investors, so like people like you and me, who want to get exposure to a certain project. And we will be raising, so overall, we will be raising around 1 million euros at a pre-money valuation of 7 million euros. So that means roughly 3 times the value the company had in 2021.
So
And
that's an increase of 3 times, 300% in 1 year.
yeah, roughly. I mean, it's probably slightly more, but let's for argument's sake, let's keep it simple. So that means that this is the valuation we'll put forward to our investors, and they can sort of buy shares via the Seeders nominee, which basically means they'll allocate money to the Seeders nominee, who will ultimately own around 12, well, depending on how much we're going to raise on Seeders, but they'll own a certain percentage of the company via this Seeders nominee. And in terms of investment size, retail investors can allocate, I believe, a minimum of 100 euros and up to like question mark, because it depends on how much people want to get exposed on. I mean, last year we had individuals investing, thousands of tens of thousands of euros, and again having that big trust in the founding team.
Who can invest? Is there any regulation on Cedars that is organizing this process?
Yeah, so typically I would say investors who reside in the European Union and the UK are allowed to invest. So I know that we have a lot of interest coming from Moldova, but we unfortunately Cedars only accepts, residents or people who are nationals of the European Union, like Romania, for instance, and can prove their residency is in Romania. But anyone can create an account on Cedars and check the eligibility criteria. And but I would say, for argument's sake, and to keep things easy, it's either the UK or the EU residents.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What is a normal exit strategy for this particular case? You have mentioned before in your previous answer about the expectation of a 5x, 6x, usually in terms of some investments. You have mentioned that there is the possibility of secondary market. People can sell their shares on Cedars earlier to
Mm.
recover their money, or to maximize their profits in very short time. Um,
Yeah, so I
does
think,
it differ in this particular case, or is the same? Are the same rules apply here?
yeah, I would say typically with early stage investments, it's not an easy money sort of game. It's not a quick investment. It's not like buying shares on the stock exchange and selling them, in 2 hours time and locking in 10%, if you're lucky. So I think it generally is a more long term investment. So I would encourage people to really, lock their, so not lock that, but invest and then hold their investment, because the possibility of higher returns in the future are greater. Now, obviously, unicorns happen. That is, companies valuated at $1 billion typically. They do happen, rarely. And at the same time, there are businesses who go bust or bankrupt quite often. So I think that is the only caveat. I mean, that people should have whenever investing, not just in this particular round, is, to realize that this is a risky investment, and therefore, because it's risky, the upside is quite high. So I would say it's a mid to long term investment.
My last question, Christian. Um, the evaluation, the pre-money evaluation you have mentioned about 7 million euros. I would say it's quite an important figure, especially for Eastern Europe, uh, launching on Cedars. What are the plans the operational team has right now? Because for an investor, you have to buy the trust and or earn, is better said. You have to earn the trust of investors, and secondly, they must see the future path the team is building. So
Yeah.
what are the plans the team has right now for the next years? Because I assume the amount raised will be used for the next at least 1 year and a half or two.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, I mean, first of all, the important thing is that we've achieved our targets with our previous funding round. So whatever we said we're going to do with the money, we did. We and even overachieved in many respects. Like, for example, we didn't say anything about the mobile apps, and we did launch them. So, and I mean, kudos to you, because you played a significant role in that respect. But I would say that, for this round, the target is to sort of to leverage and increase the community we have, and really pinpoint their expectation and their needs. And from what we've seen so far and across the years, is that people need, one, they like the investments they get on Fagura, but on top of that, they want to be able to send money back home. And this is a recurring theme, that, sending money to Moldova, for instance, is not that easy. And therefore, we will be slightly pivoting, if I may, into the direction of community digital bank, and look into adding financial services. I don't want to call it banking services, but financial services, whereby people could send money. Why not have a virtual card, and then start spending using a Fagura card? So I think scaling the existing operations, which we already kind of like on top of, and also adding additional financial services to further enhance the community digital bank philosophy.
Christian, thank you very much for the information you provided. I propose to round up this talk. So, a new investment round is expected on Cedars. Do we have the timing yet or not?
We are still sort of scaling the opportunity and speaking to our old investors, and so sort of existing investors and prospect investors. we will probably launch sort of the actual funding campaign in the next couple of months or so. And yeah, it depends on whatever we manage to discuss with our partner investment funds that will also be part of this round. But for us, the sooner the better. So yeah, fingers crossed, and it'll launch as soon as possible.
So the campaign is going to start in the next months. Pre-evaluation about 7 million euro. Selling, I understand, between 10 and 15% maximum.
That's right.
Everyone is invited to this party, especially those looking to maximize their returns. Thank you, Cristian. Thank you for this information. Thanks everyone for watching this interview.
Thank you, Dimitri. All the best. Bye now.
Goodbye.